Welcome all, Boone here from EWPRO. So this week, for the weekly outlook, on Friday we got a few spikes, so I'll go over all them. We'll start with the DXY again. Like I've been saying, we got this 5 down and we got this bullish divergence. Last week we were in here somewhere and we hadn't quite broken out of this trend. So we've got to have a look what's going on in here on the lower time frames. I am looking for this correction. I am looking for the larger correction. Whether it happens from here and gives a correction, or whether we get one more down, well, we have to look on the lower time frames what's happening. But eventually we are going to get at least the larger correction. Like I've been saying, on the weekly, we still can go down to this 100 fib, this green 100 fib here, like I've been saying for a while. So we have broken out of the trend line now, but break of the trend line doesn't mean much. And now you can see it's not valid. And when I say we do have bearish hidden divergence here, it's not valid. But when I say it's not valid for us to trade. It's not a high probability trade. It still can, that bear hidden here still can play out, but it's just not valid as a trade, as what we can trade as a high probability trade. We only want to trade high probability trades. So when I say it's not valid, that's what I mean. It's not valid to trade it as bear hidden. There is bear hidden there. You can see it. You can see the bear hidden here between this top and this. So we do have bear hidden. So this can go and break that low. Okay, on the daily. So if we go down to the H4, but like I said before I go down, we still can go down to this 100 fib on the weekly. So there still is room down. We have the trend line break. The trend line break itself doesn't mean much at all. So if we go down to the H4, we got this correction. We got an A, B, C. We do have bear divergence here. Now, if we draw out fib, our 100 fib, we've bounced off this 100 fib here and we've got bearish divergence. We still are in this, on the H4, we're still in this bullish trend here. We're in a bullish trend on the H4. But we do have that bearish divergence here and it's bounced off the 100 fib. So, and like this was from non-farm payroll here, this spike down. So we may actually get a sell on it. If we go down to the H1, we got a sharp, this is sharp, it's bounced clean off the 100 fib, H4 100 fib. I'll remove this. And we're in this uptrend. But if you get a flag, if you get any little flag in here, or even if you get a little flag in here, you can look for the sell. First target is 100 fib, like your 100 fib, wherever this correction is, your 100 fib. That's your first target. And then your second target will be the break of this low or that W1 100 fib. So really there is no setup on it. We've got a nice impulse down. So even if we get a correction in here, some sort of larger correction, and then you get the sell set up and a break of the trend line, a little flag in here, well then you can look for that sell for the A, B, C, at least the A, B, C. So really we're looking for that sell setup. But like I said, it doesn't matter if we get a larger correction in here or just a little flag in here. If we get a little flag in here, you can look for the sell too. So really we're looking for that sell because we have on the H4, we have that bearish divergence and it's bounced off that 100 pip. We still are in the uptrend. So you do have to be careful. We're still within this trend line. So you do have to be careful. But with the daily, with the bear hidden, the possible bear hidden there, and H4, we've got the bearish divergence and we've got this impulse down. I think if you get the sell set up, definitely take it. And I've told you the targets, the 100 fib and the low here, or the W1. So I don't think we have turned. I don't think we have got the reversal with what we have here. Okay, with the daily, we do have the daily trend line break, which is this trend line here, but that trend line break by itself doesn't mean anything. So if we go down to the AU, my internet's a little bit slow. AU, we are still within this trend line and we haven't broken out of it. This is looking very corrective up here. And the 100 fib, we've got heaps of room up to the 100 fib on the daily. 88.98 is 100 fib. So we still do have potential of a lot of upside. If we go down to the H4, we never got any bullish, like I said last week, we didn't get any bullish divergence, which it makes it a little bit difficult to trade when we don't have that high probability trade. But I think now this is looking very corrective. So really, we want to be looking for the buy now. We're still within that trend line, daily trend line. H1, we do have that bullish divergence in here. We've got that bullish divergence. We got a move up, and if you look in here, if I zoom in a little bit, you can see that we got 5 down in here, like 5 internal waves or sub waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here, and then we get that A, B, C. This last bit here is looking very impulsive. We don't have any bearish divergence, so any little flag that you get, look for the buy. Yeah, so look for that buy. It's very choppy. All this is very choppy, so it's looking very corrective. It's like that WTI. If you go back last week, you'll see that WTI on the daily. AU is looking very similar. WTI took off last week. If you go back last week's video, you'll see what I said about WTI, that it was going to go and break that top. Well, I think this is going to as well. So if you get any buy set up, look for the buy and to go and at least break the top. And like I said, it can even go up to the 100 fib. There's still plenty of room up to the 100 fib on the daily. EU, that's a little bit slow. So EU, the 100 fib, we still got heaps of room on the 100 fib up here as well. So we've sort of broken out. Price tried to break out of this trend here on the daily. If I just remove some of these, make it a bit cleaner. But we broke out and then we've come straight back above the trend line. So we still are within this trend. Like I said, a break of the trend line by itself doesn't mean anything. It has to give the setup to confirm that that trend line is broken. So we still do have plenty of room up to the 100 fib. And if you look here, we do this again. We do have that bull hidden divergence here between this low and this. So we do, it's not confirmed. It's not valid as a trade, but we do have that bull hidden, like I was saying before. Just because I say it's not valid doesn't mean it's going to go. It's just not valid to trade it as bull hidden divergence. Okay. So the daily, this is looking very corrective, and we do have that potential bull hidden. So this top here can be broken, and we still do have that room up to the 100 fib. H4, this was our spike up from non-farm payroll. I think we do have bullish divergence here. I'll just check. Oh no, I don't think we do have bullish divergence. This one just broke the low. So we don't have any bullish divergence. But if we have a look here, we got these 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we got this correction with no bullish divergence. We got 3 down. If we get this tool here and see where this, we never got to the 100 fib. So the 100 fibs here. We got to the 50 fib retracement of all this. We got to the 50 fib retracement. But in this wave here, we never got to the 100 fib, and we don't have any bullish divergence. So I think this top will be broken, and this is 5 up, 3 down, and then we get another 5 up, possibly up to that daily 100 fib. Okay. So if we go down to the H1, actually, I should just check this. Oh, okay. So really, this was your sell set up in here. Break of this, that was your target, and you would have been targeting that 100 fib. It didn't hit it. That would have been your first target. I got out of all my EY sells. I got in a sell, I think it was up here somewhere, and I think I took this one as well. So I had a couple of sells on it. I've completely closed them all out once we got this spike up. Once the non-farm payroll, we got a really bad non-farm payroll, low numbers, and we got this spike up. So I just closed them out, and I thought, well, I'll see what happens next. But how we can trade this now, if you get any bullish flag in here, look for the buy. If it just keeps on going up, don't just jump in it. You need the setup, because we do have bearish hidden here, possibly bearish hidden. We want this top to be broken to negate that bear hidden. And then if price just keeps on going up and then gives a larger correction in here, well, then we can buy that to go up. Or we get a little flag in here. And if you get a little flag, well, then you can buy it as well. Okay. You want to be moving to break even when that top gets broken. So look for the buys. Like I said, we didn't hit that 100 fib. we've got no bullish divergence, but it's very corrective, and we got the larger correction after these 5 up. So look for the buy, I think. GU is very messy. I took a break even on this last week. So last week I was saying this is going to break. I said last week this is going to break, and we did get a break. And last week I was saying look for the break, then look for a flag, and then look for the sell. And watch out for around the trend lines, etc. Now it didn't go. It didn't fall over. So I'll remove these. We actually got this spike up on GBP news. If I zoom in here, we actually got this 100 pip move, 100 pip candle here on GBP news. And then like non-farm payroll, we got the rest of it. This was your correction in here. We got a trend line break. If you drew a trend line in here, we got the break. That was your, you're looking for a correction to buy after the trend line break. We got this A, B, and a C in here for a little running flat. So if you bought above that top, you can still keep it. Maybe a stop loss just under this, and wait until it goes and breaks that top there, and then move it to break even, and just let it go. I think this is going to break the top. If we look at the H4, we got an A, and then we got an A, B, C. We can look at that as an A, B, C in here for a running flat, and then we get that A, B, C. So I think there is. I think this top will be broken. It's sort of gone already. You really needed to get in on that H1 correction. Well, it wasn't a H1 correction. It was more of an M15 correction. You really needed to get on that. Now it's become too risky. We've nearly broken this top, because at the break of this top, you really need to be at break even. You already need to be in the trade, because this can just go A, B, C, just break that top and then fall over. Okay, so for the buys, you really have to be careful. You're probably better off to buy the AU or EU rather than this, because this is so choppy. It's so hard to trade. I got into a sell and it come back, it took me out of break even. It's very difficult to trade. It's so choppy. But this is looking like a flat, like this A, B, C, be running, and then we get that A, B, C. So if you do get a flag, you can take it. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit risky. On the H1, you really need the correction. You really need the flag. You need something to buy. You need a flag in here, something to buy before you can buy it. Because like I said, this is more an N15, A, B, C in here for the running flat in here. This is where you would have wanted to get in. It's more of an M15 correction to get in. Because like I said, once you break these tops, you want to be at break even. So if you get a flag in here, you can look for the buy, but the risk reward is going to be reasonably poor. It's not a high probability trade. So that's GU. NU is very choppy as well. If we look at the daily, we're still within that daily trend, and it's the same as AU. We're getting this. It's very corrective. This is very corrective, and we still have a lot of room up to the 100 fib, like I've been saying. there still is a little bit of room. I'd be more inclined to buy the AU than the NU, just because the AU has more room up to the 100 fib. This one doesn't have as much room, and it's very weird in here, this correction. It didn't sort of finish the correction, which makes it hard. So we got those 5 up on H4, and we got that bearish divergence. Now, I was looking for this last week, like an A, B, C, and go and break that low. This low here, it still hasn't broken that low. Well, I was looking for this in here to go and break the low. It didn't break the low. And this as your flat for an A, B, C. But I'll remove them because it's gone up. It's going up. So we've got 3 down here. This isn't a large enough correction for all this. After we get 5 up, we want a large correction down to the 50 fib, you know, down to the 50 fib, and then give us another 5 up, you know. It hasn't done that. It's sort of giving a little correction in here, 3 down in here. So this is going to be pretty hard to trade because it hasn't actually finished the correction. We can look at this as like the A, B, C as an expanding flat in here, and then we get that A, B, C. But it should have went from here and broken the top. Instead, it's given us all this. It's very messy. It's not complete. Something's not right here. And when I see something that's not right, I don't trade it. I only trade high probability trades. So for me, there's nothing really to trade on this. If you do get buy setups, you can look to buy, you know, and break that top. It's going to be risky though. You're better off to trade one of the other pairs, AU or EU, rather than this. You know, who knows what's happening in here? You know, this can just go up here for an A, B, C as a contracting flat in here, and then we get the A, B, C up here, and then we get the A, B, C. So this can turn into the larger correction. It's going to be choppy, or it can just go and break this top from here, you know. So you can look for the buy. If you get a little flag in here, you can look for the buy for only for this A, B, C, and then you get that A, B, C. So you definitely want to be at break even at the 100 fib of this. I'll just draw the 100 fib for you. So, and this is your correction in here as a contracting flat. The contracting flat is not confirmed yet either, so it's very risky to trade this. I definitely won't be trading it. You know, it doesn't give the high probability trade. But this is your flat here, so you got that A, B, C. You definitely, if you take the buy, you definitely want to be at break even, and I would even take half off. Well, you want to be at break even at the top here. So if you get a little flag in here, you can look for that buy, move it to break even here, and at least take half off here in case we get that larger A, B, C. So you want to be taking at least half off here. Okay. UY. So the first target was hit on the H4. Again, like I've been saying, this can be like I've been saying for ages, I don't know if this is the Y here or the Y here. And then we get that A, B, C here as the larger correction, and then we get that Z down. So this is still very much possible. And like I've been saying, we got that bear hidden between here and this tops. So we got that bear hidden here, and I'll put that idea out on TradingView right up here to go and break that low. We still haven't broken that low. So this Z down is still very much possible, and it can break that low on the daily. If we go to the H4, now H4, there's no confirmation. We're in this uptrend. We got the trend line here. This was your first target, like I've been saying for ages. This was the trade here. I put that trade out on TradingView down here. That was your first target. Your second target is this 161.8. Wasn't hit. But now, I'll just remove this. We've got no bearish. Do we have bearish divergence here? Yes, we do have bearish divergence. I think on my Axie trading, my trading platform, we don't have any bearish divergence, but with this Oneida, we do have bearish divergence there. But either way, I think this one here, we're still within this. We've breached 100 fib, and we've probably gone to the 123.6. We do have bearish divergence, but we're in this uptrend, so this still can continue. Maybe if I get this. So this was the first correction. So we may get something like this as the next correction in X2, and then we get that Z up. So you have to be careful. If you're looking for the sell, you really have to be careful, because this can be a W, look at my pen, like a W, X, Y, X, Z. Okay. So it's going to be difficult to trade, because there is that other scenario where this is the flat and we go completely drop from here. So we have to see what sort of setup we get up in here. If we get a sell set up, you can definitely take the sell, even if it's just for the like A, B, C, and you just take the C and move the break even, and it turns into a break even, and you get the Z up. Then you know, if you get the break even, well, then you look for the buy setup for the Z up. Or it doesn't come back, you get into the trade for the sell and it doesn't come back, and it goes and breaks a low, you know, as that flat. Okay. So at this stage, I can't rule out this Z up. I can't rule out this Z up. We're still within that uptrend. If we go down to the H1, I'll get rid of this now. Remove. And it may not turn into the same correction. That's just a guideline of what sort of correction we may get, like what we had here. We do have a cross down on the H1. There is no real setup on it yet. You really need, for the sell, you need this little flag in here to sell, to confirm more downside. If it gives a larger correction in here, well, then more than likely it's just going to be an A, B, C, and 4 more upside. So we really need to see what happens in here, whether we get a flag or a larger correction. If you get a flag, you want to take it. if you get the correction, you still want to take it for the just for a C down. Wherever the 100 fib is, take half off and have it to break even, and you may get that larger flat to go and break the low, like I was saying. So we really have to see what happens in here. We do have that bearish divergence on the H4, and we do have on the H1, we do have internal bearish divergence as well in here, between this top here and this top here. So it is running out of steam. Eventually, we are either going to get this larger X2, or it's just going to fall over from here and give us that larger flat, bearish flat to go and break the low. So if you get the little bear flag, you can look for that sell. At this stage, it's too risky to be buying up here. You need to buy, you need this correction. You need this X2 before you can look for the buys now. There's no point buying up here. You know, you're at a top, so you can't really look for the buy. It becomes too risky. It's not a high probability trade. Okay, so if you're looking for the buy, you need to wait for this correction, a correction similar size to this one here for the X2 to trade that Z up. At this stage, there is no setup on it at this stage, but I will be only looking for the sell, just for that ABC, like A, B, C, at least get it to break even. If it gets to the larger correction, we'll, you know, take half off and yeah, manage your trade. If you want to learn how to manage your trade and everything, you know, join the group. If you want to learn about all the hidden divergences and all the divergences, you know, it's a long process, so you really have to join the group for me to explain all that, because it's not just one thing, it's everything has to line up to give you that high probability trade. UCAD, USHEFI. USHEFI. So again, this one here, like I've been saying for ages, it's pretty much the same as UY. I'm looking for that larger correction, at least a larger correction. And then on the W1, I'm looking for more downside, but we need that larger correction first. We have broken out of this trend line. Last week, we hadn't broken out of the trend line, and I said you can buy above this top when I'll get down to the lower time frames. But so on the daily, we have that bullish divergence, like I've been saying for ages, and I'm looking for that larger correction. H4 again is very similar to UY. This one here has broken the top. Actually, what did I? Yeah. Sorry. Oh. So again, this one's the same. Like we were in here last week. We hadn't broken out of that daily trend. Now we're in a H4 trend up. So this one we don't have any bearish divergence. So instead of buying the UY, I'd be looking to buy this one for the X2 before we get that Z up. So again, I'll just put this on. So we got this correction here. Now, this isn't the exact correction we're going to get. This is just a guideline of what could happen, like what happened here. So we're still within this bullish trend, and we can get this X2 before we get that Z up. So it's going to be risky to trade in here. because as you can see, this one here, it come deep, would have taken you out. If you got any sell in here somewhere, it didn't actually give you a sell, but if it did give you a sell, you know, you would have been taken out at the top. So trading corrections is risky. You want to trade that Z up. You want to wait for this correction. And that's another thing I should point out, you know, like when you're trading corrections is very risky because they're so choppy. I mean, you can see how choppy this one was. Just come up here, you know, very choppy, very hard to trade. This is where people lose their money, in corrections, trying to trade corrections. You want to trade the impulses like the Z up. You want to trade this one up, the W, the Y, the Z. You don't want to try and trade the corrections. When you do trading corrections and that, you're over trading, and you'll make all this money in the wave Y, and then you'll try and sell this this correction here, and you'll end up losing your money, and you'll break even at the end of the day. That's why you don't. It's called over trading. You overtrade, and if you overtrade, you won't make money, or if you do, you'll make very little, because you'll make money in here, and in here you'll lose it all again. So you'll either break even or end up losing money. I'm sort of getting off track now, but yeah, so we're looking for this correction. I'm looking for this correction to trade that Z up. Remove. So on the H1, we got to the 100 fib here. Probably got to the 123.6 and it fell over. We got this on the H1. We've got this sharp move down. So we've got a nice impulse down. So again, the same as UY. If you get a flag in here, look for the sell, even if it's just for the to the 100 fib. You want to take off half at the 100 fib, and you definitely want to be at break even. You know, if you're looking for that larger to go and break the daily low. So even if you get a correction in here, some sort of correction, you still can look for, you know, a little flag in here, just for the A, B, C. If you get the larger correction, you're only looking, you definitely want to be taking your half off at the 100 fib and be at break even. Even for the flag, you really want to be at break even, because this can be choppy like it was in here. You know, so if you do get a nice setup for the short, sell it. For the buy, you can't really, you're right up the top. So we are looking for that larger correction before you look for the buy. We do have this bull hidden divergence here. Right? So we do have that possible bull hidden divergence. It's not confirmed yet. So you have to wait for the confirmation of the bull hidden and then look for the buy. At this stage, there is no setup on it. There's no buy or sell. But at this stage, I'd be more inclined to look for that bear flag and then sell. Watch out for this trend line, and because you might get a bounce off there. I expect a correction similar size to this. So for the next couple of weeks, we may get a lot of choppy movement, unless this gives us 5 down correction here, and the 5 down and breaks that low. So we have to see what we get in here, what we get. If we get that larger correction, or a flag, or what happens in here. So look for the sells. There is that bull hidden, so you will have to be a little bit careful, but the sell, you should at least get that A, B, C down, A, B, C. At minimum, you should, I think we should at least see that. And if we don't get a flag in here for the sell, well, and price just comes straight up here and breaks the top, well, there's still no buy set up on it. Unless you get, for the buy, you need the impulse up and a bullish flag, you know, to buy. So if you get that, well, you can buy it, but it's going to be risky. You know, we do have internal bearish divergence here already between, you know, this high here and this high here. So it's very risky to buy up here until we get that larger correction. UCAD's very tricky as well. So on the daily, we have this, we're still within this trend line. We do have this, like I've been saying for ages, we got that bullish divergence. Doesn't mean this is over. Like last week I was saying, we got the A, B, C for more downside. It's looking very corrective here for an internal correction. But I was more inclined to look for the buy because we've got this divergence. The sell is only going to be a scalp down to the bottom, and you definitely want to be at break even, you know, because eventually this is going to, you know, give us that larger correction, whether it's from down here somewhere and give you a larger correction before we get that A, B, C, or it goes from here. We don't know. Gives it that A, B, C up. But we're looking, the larger impulse will be to the upside. So we want to sort of trade because we have that bullish divergence. We go down onto the H4. We sort of, I've been looking to try and trade this. You know, it's not giving any setups. That's the problem. It's like GU. It's very risky, you know, very choppy. So there is this possibility of A, B, C, and we come down from here. But the problem is, if we were going to come down, if this was a flat, we should have seen impulse down and a flag, something to sell. Instead, we've got this. We've got an A, B, getting a C down. So it's looking more bullish. The problem is there's no real setup on it. I was looking at trading this last week. It's just not giving any setups. This is very choppy up the top. So it's sort of suggesting that there's more upside, but we can't rule out that flat, you know, the flat for more downside, but it's giving this. So we have to work out what's going on here. We sort of got, it's very choppy. We got 1, 2, 3 down here. Then we got 5 up here and 1 down here. So you'd think that that is the flat there. And then we go by A, B, C, and then up. So it's very difficult to trade. If you get a bear flag in here, look for the sell to go and break this low for that larger flat. If it comes and breaks this low here and then gives you a nice impulse up and something to buy, a flag up here, well, then you can look for the buy to go and break that top. You definitely want to be at break even at the top of that. Okay, and like your target will be for the buy, your target's at 50 fib retrace. I don't have it on there, but your target is this 50 fib retrace. You know, we're looking after a nice impulse down. We're always looking for that A, B, C. Okay, back to the 50 fib. So yeah, it's going to be difficult to trade this. I was looking for the buy, but like I said last week, you know, we do have this flat in here. It's not playing the game because we have all this. It's looking more bullish. We've got the impulse. This is looking corrective, so we get another one up. Instead of, if this was the flat, we should have got an impulse down and then a flag or a correction, something to sell for the sell. So it's sort of very tricky to trade. Whether you trade it, you can trade it both ways basically, because, you know, but whatever trade you're taking on it, it's not a high probability trade anyway, because it's so messy. No real trade setup. It's not a clean structure. GY, this one's kept on going. This one actually took off. Last week I said, you know, we were getting this, and I said, you know, you can take that. We're still within the trend line. If I go to the daily, I should go to the daily. So we got this A, B, C. The 100 fibs right up here. So there's still plenty of room to the upside. And then I'm sort of looking for that A, B, C. But even that can be wrong, because if we look at this, see, this can be the flat here, you know, A, B, C. We didn't get any bullish divergence. So that's why I'm sort of looking at this as the impulse correction, and then we get another impulse down, breaking that low, giving us the bullish divergence, you know, giving us that bullish divergence to buy. That's why I'm looking at this as the A, B, C. I'm looking at this as a B wave because of how choppy it is. You know, it's very choppy. When we get these choppy, you know, look how choppy it is in here. It's very difficult to trade. But last week we got that flag, and I said, you know, we're in here, and it wasn't on the H4, it was more on the H1. We were getting that flag, turned into a nice flag in here. You know, this in here, if you got on that, you know, you'd definitely be a break even at the break at the top there, and just keep on letting it go up to the 100 fib. It may get up to that daily 100 fib up here. But yeah, to buy it now, you need another flag, something like this to buy, you know. And this was a perfect flag. It's a H4 flag, but this is what a nice flag looks like. Whereas this is more of a correction, you know. More of a correction. Whereas this is a flag, this is more of a correction. So yeah, if you're on that, stay on it, and yeah, move it to break even. If you get another flag in here, you definitely can look for the buys. Get another flag in here, look for the buy. But when you're up this high, they're only scalps. You want to be in and out. Like if you're in this flag in this trade here, and this starts to do this, you want to get out of that trade, because it's only a scalp, and then wait for the next flag and buy that one and scalp that one, and then again, you know, get another one for this one here. If you get the impulse up and it starts to correct, well, you get out and then trade the next one, because eventually it's going to give a flag, false breakout, and fall over on you. That's why it's only scalping. You're only scalping up here. And there is no rule. Like we were in here last week. We're in here. We had these like 3 down. I was looking for that, you know, flag. So you could have brought that. So yeah, at this stage, we don't have any bearish divergence. So if you do get flags in here, you can buy them. We still don't have any bearish divergence. So, you know, but the buys are going to be risky. We're at a top. Gold. Gold was a nice trade if you took it last week. I was looking for that sell. I was looking for this sell here. We had that 3 up, and I said, wait for the trend line break, and we got a little correction in here to sell. So if you're in that, well, you really want to definitely be at break even. We do have that bullish divergence now. But what I think's happening here now, because I was looking for this, if I go to the daily, like I was saying, for the last couple of weeks, we got this bear hidden here. So I'm looking for this to break the low. On the weekly, I was saying that, you know, this could be choppy for a long time. So we got this up here. Nice impulse, but now we've got 3 down. So this can be an A, B, C before we get A, B, C. Okay, so at this stage, when we go down to the H4, you'll see what I mean. There was a nice sell on it. You know, if you took this, you've done well. Okay, you definitely, you know, be break even at the break of the low. Last week we got that. We had this 3 up, and I was saying, yep, you know, wait for this to break out and give you something to sell. Now we do have that bullish divergence. We have a trend. So we have the bearish trend. We're still in the bearish trend. So the buy, you have to wait. But for the buy, even though I showed you like that A, B, C, and then we get that A, B, C up, you still need to wait for the setup for the buy. We're still within this downtrend. On the H1, is there a buy setup? The H1, we've just got that one move down. We have to see if this gives us bear hidden or what it does in here. There's no buy setup on it, so to speak. You know, you really, for the buy, if it gives that little flag in here, look for that buy. Watch out for the trend line, because it may bounce off the trend line and come back and break the low. Ideally, you know, we want to break this top. We want an impulse up, then the larger correction for another A, B, C. We haven't broke. We're still within that H4 trend to the downside. So any buys you take, you have to be careful with this trend line. It may bounce off of it. And you really have to wait for a nice flag in here. You know, something like this to sell. You need something like this in here to buy. Sorry, to buy up here. This was a sell bearish flag. This was the flag that you should have taken if you're looking for that sell like last week. We broke out of the trend and it's giving a flag. This is what you want to trade, like that A, B, C. Okay, so if you get a bullish flag in here, look for the buy. So just wait for your setup. WTI. Now this was nice last week. I said, you know, this is looking very bullish here. You know, we had that nice like bullish correction. I said there's no big impulses in it, so more than likely it's going to go and break that top. And there still is room up to the 100 fib. So, you know, this would have been a nice trade. Like I said last week, you know, if you got any buy setups, look for that buy to go and break this top here. So we've got bearish divergence. There still is room up to the 100 fib. So you could have taken it last week. It sort of didn't. Last week, I wanted it to come down and just break that low to give us that bullish divergence. Because last week we didn't have any bullish divergence between this low and this low. So I was looking for that one more down to break the low. It didn't quite break the low. Now, it doesn't have to, because like I've been saying, a wave C only has to break the bottom of wave A, and it done that. It didn't break this one here, though. I'm sort of looking for W, X, Y, X, Z and break that low. It didn't quite break the low. But if you got the buy, you could have either brought it the buy at the top or get a buy set up on the lower time frames. Now, do we have bearish divergence? No, we don't. We don't have any bearish divergence on the H4 now. We do right from the start. So there is like continuing divergence, and this they call it continuing divergence because it just continues on and on and on. I might do a video on the divergences, but it broke out and then come straight back up. So we're still within this H4 trend now. H1, it's going to be difficult to trade now because you really need, you definitely can buy flags because there's room up to the 100 fib and we don't have any divergence on the last legs on H4. Right. It's very, so you really need flags to buy. See, here you had a flag. So if you're in that, you want to be a break even. Here was, well, this wasn't a really flag, but more of a correction. But yeah, if you get a flag, you can look for the buys. For the sells, you need that impulse down and then the bearish flag to sell. Simple as that. At this stage, it's not giving a buy or a sell setup. So you have to wait to see what it's going to give you. Bullish flag or bearish flag. Bitcoin didn't play out by the look of it. I was looking for this last week, this flat in here. We got an A, B, C, and I was looking for that A, B, C. It didn't play out. So now it still can be an A, B, C for an expanding flat and still give this C down, this A, B, C, or it even can break this top. for an A, B, C as a running or expanding flat. So it still can break this top. So at this stage, it still hasn't broken. It still hasn't broken this top here. So it's still a running flat. If it falls over from here, it's going to be a running flat. If it keeps on going up, well, it'll be an expanding flat. If it breaks this top here, it's an expanding flat. And even if it breaks this top here, it's an expanding flat. So I still think this is corrective. This is very choppy. You have to be very careful buying this because I think that we still will get this down. Just because of how choppy it is. It's very choppy, like deep pullbacks. Just goes and breaks a low, straight back up. Deep pullback, just goes up, probably just come back here for another one. Probably get some sort of a flat in here, maybe. You have to watch the structure. This is very difficult to trade. You really have to be experienced to trade this because you are trading a correction. H1. See, it didn't play out. Like I said, I was looking for this to go and break the low. Now it's turned into a larger correction. So here we have, even within this last leg up, we're getting bearish divergence in here. So how I would trade this, I've traded it a couple of times, but I never really like trading it because it's so choppy. It gives really long drawn out corrections, Bitcoin I've found. We have a trend in here. We're getting bearish divergence in here. So if you're going to trade this possible C down, you have to wait for this trend line. Wait, whatever it does, wait for the trend line break, then your bearish setup to sell it. At this stage, I wouldn't really, well, you can look at that as the flat, has a contracting flat, and you buy at the top here, have your stop loss here. So if you do get a bullish flag, you can buy it. It's very risky though, because we are getting that bearish divergence even here between this top and this top here. We're getting that bearish divergence. So the buys are risky. If you get a nice bullish flag, well, you can scalp it. But I'd be more inclined to see what it does up in here. And even if it does break the tops, still wait for the trend line break, bear flag, whenever it happens, and then look for this C down. And then once you get that C down, then you can start looking for the buy setups. So it's still playing out, this correction. Definitely a correction. We can see it's correction. We're right at the top and we're getting this, this is corrective. So look for this, look for this sell, look for your sell setup for this C wave down for the A, B, C. SPX, this has gone and broken the top. Last week we hadn't broken out here. We've gone and broken the top, but it sort of hit my target on the trading view idea. I was looking for this. I said, watch this area for the first TP, and you can see it's bounced right off of, it's bounced clean off of it. So you either took profit here or you moved it to the break even and you got a break even trade. So last week, I think we were in here, and you could have got that sell down and watch this space down here, and then yeah, it took off. But this is going to be if we go to the daily, we're getting all this bearish divergence. So it's like most of the pairs, you know, we're in that C up. Where is it? Oh, I don't think I've got the, oh, we'll just put the 100 fib on it. Not sure why I don't have it on it. But. So the 100 fib's right up here. We're still within this trend. We're still within the bullish trend. And you can see why I put that, you know, your first target at this trend line, because we've got to bounce clean off the trend line, the daily trend line. So now we've got that bearish divergence. We're still within the uptrend. We've got some sort of an A, B, C in here. So we've got a flat in here. I'll remove this. Get rid of all this. That trade's already played out, so there's no point having it on. Settings. So this was your flat in here. So you're looking for that A, B, C. It's broken the top of wave B. So you can look for the buys. It's risky because we do have this bearish divergence, but there still is quite a bit of room right up to the 100 fib here. H4. So there was your flag, the buy. We don't have any bearish divergence now between the top and this. So if you get any sort of correction in here, even if you get a large correction, look for the buy. You really want to wait for a larger correction now because we've broken this top. So you really want to wait for a correction. And then look for that buy. But if you do get flags, you can buy them. Well, if you're getting flags now, we've got bearish divergence on the H1. So you have to be really careful. So this more than likely will give the larger correction now. I dare say we'll start to get a larger correction. And then look for that buy. The sells, well, you can scalp the sells, but because we've broken the top with no divergence now, you know, I think there's the larger impulse is going to be the A, B. The larger impulse is going to be this C up here. So either wait for the larger correction or risk, you know, buying the flags. But we do have that bearish divergence on the H1, so it's very risky to be buying, you know, buying flags. You really have to wait for the larger correction now of this. This is your impulse, wait for the larger correction and then buy. The DAX is broken out too. The DAX is broken out of the trend. So we're still within this trend line. We got the bearish divergence. The H4, we didn't have any bullish divergence, and we've broken out. We've broken out of this trend here. So if you get a correction in here, look for the buy. At least go and break that top. So yeah, you can definitely look for the buy, A, B, C. the same as S&P. If you get a flag, well, I'll see if we've got any bearish divergence on this one. I dare say we don't because of how sharp this is. See, we don't have any bearish divergence on this one. So wait for the correction. We got a W, X, Y, X. Trade that Z up. Wait for the correction and then trade it for the buy. The FTSE, I might as well run over this one. I've done it last week. So we're looking for that X2 on the weekly. H1, we do have bearish divergence. I think. Yeah, we do have bearish divergence. I think on the weekly last week we had bear hidden. Yeah, see, we got that bear hidden on the weekly. So I'm looking for this low to be broken. So on the daily, this we still are within this trend, the daily uptrend. We've crossed down here, but this could be internal. The buys are going to be risky because of this X2. Let's see what we got on the H1. We've just broken this low here. So, and we have bearish divergence. So the buys are going to be risky. But this is giving a buy setup here. This is giving a flag here. You can see this here. You know? So it's giving a buy setup. You can take it, like you can take this buy setup if you want, and you know, A, B, C, wherever the 100 fib is, you definitely want to be a break even. You know? And I'd even take half off. But we can see that the S&P and everything went and broke the top. So, you know, this may break the top as well. This may break this top here as well. So, yeah, really, there's only a buy setup on it at this stage. There's no sell setup. My internet's very slow. Here we go. So yeah, look for the buy. There's a buy. You're getting a bullish flag here. Wait for the breakout, little flag, and buy for the A, B, C. So this week has dragged on a lot longer than I thought it would. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the analysis. Hit the thumbs up if you liked it. Comment, share. Enjoy your week. Next week, trade safe, and I'll see you out there next week. Bye.